What's up, everybody? Good late morning or early afternoon, and where one extended series ends, another series begins. So, yesterday we wrapped up the free agency primer. By the way, I'm going to be putting all those free agency primer videos into a playlist on YouTube. Probably later today. Maybe it's already up by the time you've seen this if I'm feeling really energetic and motivated this morning, but it should be done sometime later today in all likelihood. So if you want to kind of take the crash course on free agency, if you want to refresh on some of the videos maybe you already watched but you don't remember that well, whatever, if you want to go through that whole series, you can just put the playlist on and let it lull you to sleep or something. I don't know. Put it on while you're driving somewhere for a long time. It's a long series. I put a lot into it, and there's a lot to digest. So thank you for helping make that series successful. Thank you to anybody who watched any of the videos. But it's time to move on now. And actual free agency starts in half a week. Legal tampering is Monday, and then free agency is Wednesday. So we're about to find out what these teams are going to do. We're going to find out about the Seahawks in particular, which I know we care about. And I do have plans for that week, of course. However, before we get there, we are going to do a little bit of draft stuff. And then after the first wave of free agency and the second wave of free agency, like that first 5-day period of free agency, we then get to more draft stuff. That's where most of this stuff is going to be. But we may as well get an early start on it because we got nothing else to do. We've already said everything that need to be said about free agency, basically. So let's get started on the draft stuff just a little bit early and see how much time we end up needing to get through all of it. So what you are looking at on screen right now might look familiar to you. This is the draft prospects analysis document that I wrote up over the course of a couple months last year. You can see that the first guy listed is John Michael Schmitz, who was obviously a draft pick last year. So this is last year's draft prospect analysis document. And this basically gives a preview of how the coverage is going to go for the draft this year. So starting tomorrow, we are going to dive into these draft prospects. And we're going to do it in the same basic way we did last year. Maybe it'll be a little more expansive overall, but the same basic idea. We're going to upload several videos a day. Each video is going to take a look at 2 to 4 draft prospects, and we're going to sort by position. We're going to sort by position, rough estimated draft positioning, and then we're going to also sort, of course, by need to the Seahawks individually. So we're going to go through the positions, offense to defense, and we're going to focus in on the positions where the Seahawks have a big need. So offensively, it would be tight end. Tight end would be first. And then it'd be left guard, center, right guard. And then we jump over to the defense. And the defense would be defensive end, linebacker, and free safety. So each day we would spend 3 to 5, I would estimate, 3 to 5 videos breaking down prospects. And it's going to be like this. I'm going to have a write-up on screen, and then we're going to talk through it. The player, the college, the age. And by the way, the age is going to be when the season starts, what their age is going to be. Their measurements at the combine or pro day. Their test scores at the combine or, in some cases, pro day. Their relative positions on the big board at the time that I took them. And whatever relevant statistics that I could find for the player. And then we're going to talk about the things that make the player appealing, the pros. We're going to talk about the things that make them not so appealing, the cons, and then kind of a overall evaluation, and then my kind of final word. And we're going to do this for probably not quite 300 guys, but it's going to be close. It's going to be hopefully every guy that gets drafted, or at least enough guys to cover the entire draft of 260 picks. Going to be around there, right? So that is how things are going to go. So the first day, which would be tomorrow in all likelihood, we might do tight end. The first video would be the tight ends. We're gonna analyze the ones that are gonna go in the top 100, And then the next video would be, okay, now we're going to start on the day 3 tight ends. And then the next couple of videos would be about the day 3 tight ends, the guys who are projected to go in that area of the draft. And then after that, we go to left guard. And then the first videos would be like, okay, left guard prospects likely to go in the first round. Next one would be, okay, day 2 left guards. And then day 3 left guards, so on and so forth. And every video is going to be chock full of this kind of data, this kind of information. And as we go through, we're going to drill down to the guys that the Seahawks should really be thinking about because they fill a need, because they fit the scheme, because they're really good. All these things combine, and we get excited for the prospects that we think make a lot of sense. And through this process, we're going to understand a lot about the draft by the time it gets here. We're all going to have a deep understanding of almost every single prospect. Now, I do plan on doing every position by the time this is done because we have enough time for it, or we should. Even though there are some positions that I know are not worth talking about as a Seahawks fan. But if you happen to be a fan of another team and you want to see what I think about some of these prospects anyway, then it should cover everything, right? Like, I'm going to do left tackle, even though I don't think there's any way the Seahawks draft a left tackle. That doesn't make any sense. I'm going to do the top cornerbacks, even though I don't think that makes any sense unless we trade Woolen. And even if we trade Woolen, probably not. I'm going to do everything except kicker and punter. I'm not going to do kicker and punter because that's just foolish, and we certainly don't need to be thinking about that right now anyway. But the point is, this is how we figure out the draft. And, you know, you can do the math. If every video covers 2 to 4 prospects, and I'm doing 270 prospects, and that's just a hypothetical number. Let's say it's 270 prospects. That's going to be almost 100 videos. That's going to be very close to 100 videos. So I think that you can see how much time it's going to take us to get through all this. But I think it'll be worth it. It was a great series last year. I know that this stuff is not for everyone. I know there are some people who just kind of want to go wake me up when the draft is on. I don't really need to hear all this stuff. I just need to see who we take, and then I'll look up what they are after we take them. But this is an important part of the process for this channel. This is an important part of the process for me. So stay tuned. Draft coverage is coming very, very soon here. Should start tomorrow unless some crazy stuff happens tomorrow and I end up having to spend the whole day talking about how the Seahawks just traded for John Madden, or the Seahawks just fired Mike McDonald and hired Marty Schottenheimer, or whatever. So, barring that, I think we're going to start tomorrow. Should be great. And hope everybody's ready for it. All right. I'll see you guys later. Go Hawks. And another series starts after one series ends.